This little box of tricks is the Canon Ligra HF-G30, a high definition camcorder that records in AVC HD up to 28 megabits per second and MP4 at 35 megabits per second, both at 50p if you so desire. But yeah, I'm not sure what all that means either. So I suggest you just bung it on the best settings, you know, the ones with the largest numbers, and you're off. First thing to be said about this camera is its superb build quality. It has a really solid construction that seems to be made of high grade materials. It's like a new BMW, all black and functional. It's a robust and chunky design that fits well in the hands, well in my hands anyway. It's comfortable and ergonomic, and all the movable bits like the EVF and the screen are reassuringly solid. All in all, very well made. I've had this camera, the Canon HF-G10, for a while now, and I really like it. Again, it's very well made, very well put together, but there are loads of buts in this camera, really annoying design features that have you wondering, has this company ever made a camcorder before? So I made a list of what got on my bugle with this camera and how it could easily be improved, and it's like Canon have been reading my emails. Firstly, the touchscreen here on the HF-G10. While it's a very good monitor with a clear and bright display, it's as unresponsive and irritating as a teenager on skunkweed. It requires too hard a touch to operate, making it push back unnecessarily against its hinge, so two hands are needed to avoid long-term damage. And anyway, who wants to put their long day, hard-working fingers all over the main monitor? This could be corrected with a firmware update utilising this scroll wheel and button to mimic the touchscreen commands. Please. So here we have the HF-G30 screen, and it's as it should be, slicker than a duck's back, smoother than a duck's arse, and more responsive than a duck on fire. I mean, you touch it, it quacks. More importantly, they've revived this little fecker, the joystick. Welcome back from the Canon HV20 circa 2007. And you can control all of your myriad of settings without touching the screen. Excellent. Here on the HF-G10, the electronic viewfinder, the EVF, is pretty miserable. It's small, it doesn't tilt, and the diopter lever is minuscule and impossible to adjust while you're actually looking through it. Over here on the HF-G30, you've got a really usable EVF, big eye cup, pulls out and tilts, and the diopter lever is person-sized here underneath. Welcome back from the Canon XM1, circa 1990s. The zoom lever thingy on the HF-G10, as is fashionable, is orientated in an east-west fashion across the camera body, sort of going across the grain. No, I don't know why they do this on any cameras. It's unintuitive and it makes it more likely to jog the camera. Please bring back the north-south zoom control and make it bigger and reposition it away from the back of the camera towards the middle and to the side where your fingers naturally sit when holding the camera comfortably. Well, they did. Here on the HF-G30, there's a superbly placed man-sized zoom rocker. Once again, welcome back from the Canon XM1 circa 1990s. Although it's nicely placed, it is a bit twitchy, certainly in variable speed mode. You've got to be gentle with it to avoid your zoom speeding up or slowing down when not required. Back on the HF-G10, behind the badly placed zoom control sits the hot shoe. Well, there's something or other proprietary, not really a hot shoe. Not a regular hot shoe. Why? To what bleeding benefit and to whom? Do me a favour, this is truly annoying. And look where it is on the HF-G10, at the back of the camera. Duh! So by the time you've used your hot shoe converter to mount your mic or lights, you need even more bracketry to bring it to where you want it in the first place, closer to the front. Hopeless. On the other hand, here on the HF-G30, you've got an old school, fits-all, industry standard cold shoe near the front. Welcome back from the Lumiere brothers, circa 1890s. And as an unwanted bonus, you still get the Canon shoe at the back, so if you want to, you can use all their hideously overpriced accessories. Meanwhile, back on the HF-G10, the headphone jack is brilliantly placed inside the screen door, meaning you have to have the door open all the time you use your cans, which is a lot. Sorted again on the HF-G30, the headphone socket is here on the front of the camera, albeit still behind a little door. No door at all here back on the HF-G10 for the microphone socket, which is good, but what is not good is if you use thicker, more robust 3.5mm plugs like this, they just won't go in. Seriously, that is just sloppy design work. Not an issue on HF-G30, the mic socket is fully accessible to your fat plugs right here next to the headphone socket. Radical. So, although most of my major gripes on the HF-G10 are sorted here on HF-G30, some remain. Notably, the interminable, incomprehensible menu system. I quite often forget what I'm looking for as my life ebbs away, scrolling and trying to work out if there's any logic to it at all. Well, if there is, I haven't found it yet on the HF-G10, and as the HF-G30 uses pretty much the same system, I'm not hopeful. It's probably easier to find the Higgs boson particle than locate the zebras, whatever they are, in these menus. At least on HF-G30, you're not going to wear your fingers out on the screen or have to resort to the included stylus. Very 1980s. Also, the HF-G30 does have macro buttons that you can set to operate a specific function. Well, not quite. It shortcuts to the menu, so you still have to select what you want from the screen. So semi-useful. This with a notable exception of the manual automatic focus button, which toggles between the two, and the powered image stabilization, which also toggles between on and off. The HF-G10 has 3 extra abilities that seem to have been dropped in HF-G30, namely Story Creator, a pointless on-screen guide on how to shoot set themes such as holidays, birthdays or funerals, Decoration, pointless ability to draw squiggly lines and stamp icons all over your video, and Faders. Just pointless. All rightfully lobbed and thankfully not on the HF-G30. It does however retain the cinema mode, which applies filters to your pictures such as vivid and old movies. Sort of fun, but ultimately pointless. And if I was after pointless fun, I would have bought a Panasonic. This camera's really got some bottle. It has a superb, supremely engineered lens, 20x optical, f1.8 wide open, which is good. Welcome back from the Canon XM1 circa 1990s. It zooms and focuses like a dream with this excellent focus ring, which is adjustable for speed and direction, and if you flip this dedicated control here, which does what it says on the switch, the focus ring becomes the zoom ring. Very good. Here's a really nice little thing that's on both cameras and rarely mentioned in reviews. An automatic pull focus ability. Go into focus, line up on something close, say this radio, press the set button, defocus, press on, and voila, pull focus. Only really usable with the included remote control, so you don't drop the camera, but svelte all the same. I've got to give the lens hood a mention here. A brilliantly simple, flappy hatch thing here. Open, shut, perfect. It also comes with this little remote, which is the same as the HF-G10s and can be used on either camera. So unlike the batteries, which are not compatible between the HF-G10 and the HF-G30, although they ostensibly look identical and fit each other's cameras, they are not interchangeable. Truly annoying. The remote, on the other hand, is pretty useful. It's small and light and has most of the stuff you'll need, like start, stop, zoom, but not the ability to focus. It's also got a Wi-Fi connection thing, which ain't bad. So after a bit of jiggery pokery, switch on here, connect here on your dog, punch this number in on your browser, this with a really cheap Huawei mobile phone, and voila, you can monitor the pictures and mess with focus and zoom and all sorts of other settings, all with a noticeable, distinct lag, but probably pretty useful, and probably a lot better on an iPad. But I haven't got one. It's also got loads more Wi-Fi options here that I don't really understand, but it enables you to upload content here and there wirelessly. I dread to think how long a bit of HD video would take to upload. I mean, it may be a wonderful ability, but I haven't got a clue yet. It's got no internal memory, so you'll have to bung a couple of SD cards in here. That's no hardship. So, there you have it, nutshell. The picture quality is superb, the onboard mics here are really good, and of course you can bung in your own mics here. It's got a 20x zoom, fast autofocus, a big focus wheel for your manual stuff, 3 excellent stabilisation modes, standard, dynamic, and the brilliant powered IS for those shaky handheld long zooms. It's got a little dial up here at the front that you can assign certain tasks to. It's on exposure at the moment, so you can hit this button and adjust exposure with this little wheel. Very useful. Along with the north-south zoom control, the excellent no need to touch touchscreen, and the very nice EVF and the well-placed sockets, this is a very nicely designed bit of kit. I've got a couple of modes with it, the godforsaken menu system, the uncharacteristically weak on and off switch, it does switch on in the bag, and the tiny recessed macro buttons. But all in all, if the question is it any good? The answer is yes, it is any good. And if the question is, should I sell a kidney to buy one? The answer is no, you should sell both kidneys and buy 2.